All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is 𝗙ecie, and I'm with the Austin Public Health WIC program. Thank you for joining us for our Breastfeeding Support Live. This month, today, we're celebrating National Nutrition Month, and we have two awesome ladies here with us today, Angela and Shannon. Angela is our breastfeeding coordinator, and Shannon is our breastfeeding peer counselor senior. So, welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
Hello.
All right. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, and we're going to start just jumping right into the topic of National Breastfeeding Month. So August every year is National Breastfeeding Month. So we like to celebrate that in a lot of different ways. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about like what that means and some of the support that we are able to provide. So not only is it National Breastfeeding Month, the first week of August is always considered World Breastfeeding Week. And so as part of National Breastfeeding Month, a lot of the different organizations, there are a lot of breastfeeding support organizations internationally, nationally, many different resources and breastfeeding support systems and organizations. And a lot of times each August, they'll have their own theme for Breastfeeding Month. So one of the ones we really wanted to highlight this year was the one from 𝗷𝘏, or the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action. Their theme this year for 2026 is breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life and strengthening what works. So this recognizes the importance of building a lasting community, workplace, healthcare, and family support system that enables breastfeeding success. Here at WIC, we really rely heavily on breastfeeding support and building those support systems up because we know how extremely important that is to success.
A little history about World Breastfeeding Week. It was first celebrated back in 1992 by 𝗷𝘏, again, which is the World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action, and it's now observed in over 200 countries by UNICEF, WHO, and partners. It includes individuals, organizations, and some governments. 𝗷𝘏 formed February 14th, 1991, and the goal to reestablish global breastfeeding culture and provide support for breastfeeding everywhere. Also, in the midst of the National Breastfeeding Month, we have a National Breastfeeding Week. Each year, it's the first week of August. It's hosted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and celebrated in conjunction with World Breastfeeding Week to promote and support breastfeeding at the best source of nutrition for baby. Uh, the observance recognizes the 50 years of notable contributions from the WIC program's breastfeeding promotion and support activities. And when you are enrolled in WIC, you get access to breastfeeding experts. We have IBCLCs, breastfeeding peer counselors that can help you get started with your breastfeeding journey.
So we know that it's something that's recognized and celebrated. So we'll talk a little bit about why is that important. We know that breastfeeding support is such an extremely important key. It really helps to support having an overall healthy family. There's definitely a need for education. That's a big piece of the support that we're able to provide. And because breastfeeding is not always that easy, it's not always just super simple and natural. Sometimes things just don't go as planned, and there's a lot of challenges that you might have to overcome. And so that's why support is so extremely important to meet whatever goals that family may have. We want to make sure that we're setting everybody up for success. We want to make sure we support whatever the breastfeeding goals are of that family. It might be to just try to breastfeed, might be to breastfeed 6 months, 2 days, whatever that goal is, we really want to help support them and get them to that goal. And to be able to have a good support system, that's just so important. Sometimes it might be family members, or other partners, anything else too. But unfortunately, sometimes you might not really have anybody to help you support you in those goals. And that's why we have the supports that are available through WIC and our peer counselors and other staff to really help be that system for that family. And also, just overall, why we promote it is there's just so many benefits of breastfeeding. It's just extremely, there's a lot of benefits for the baby and for the mom and for the environment and for the family at a whole. It's just really helpful in providing the best nutrition for the infant's growth and development. And really, some of the benefits, say for the baby, there's a lot of different decreased risks of certain infections like GI infections, decreased risks of respiratory issues as well. Lots and lots of benefits for the baby, as well as for the mother. Having a breastfeeding mother, she's got decreased risks of certain cancers, and that risk is compounded. It's a decreased risk the longer the mom chooses to breastfeed and the more babies they breastfeed. So just overall, so many different benefits. Just overall, of course, helps with bonding based on the release of a lot of different hormones through breastfeeding, and helps just get that baby off to a good start. There's a lot of key essential nutrients that help that baby grow. Ideally, the mother's milk is perfect for her baby, and really helps the baby grow optimally. So we really want to try to encourage that and support that as best as we can. I have a quote here too, from Donna Sundstrom, she's the Assistant Director of Community Services here at Austin Public Health. She was saying that the benefits of breastfeeding your child are immeasurable. Not only does it give your baby the best chance at living a happy, healthy life, it also makes things easier for mom. We recognize that breastfeeding can be a challenge for some moms, and so we encourage all mothers to visit Mom's Place and speak with one of our many specialists if you're needing a helping hand. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those supports here in a minute too.
There's also several celebrations that go on through August and some even in September. So we listed a few of them. The first week we just talked about was World Breastfeeding Week. It's the first August 1st through 7th. Week 2 is Indigenous. I have been practicing that word. But it still didn't come out correctly. But Milk Medicine Week, and that's going to be week 2, August 8th through 14th. Week 3, we have the Asian American, Native, Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Breastfeeding Week, August 15th through the 21st. And then about 3 days in there, we have Military Lactation Celebration. And that's August 22nd through the 24th. And that's to just celebrating and empowering military families on their journey with breastfeeding. Then we go into week 4, which is Black Breastfeeding Week, August 25th through the 31st. Week 5 is Workplace Lactation Week, which here we are in September. It's going to be September 1st through the 7th. So that's actually the first week in September. Week 6 is Semana de Lactancia Latina, September 8th through the 14th.
So we also have some local events. One of the things, it's already passed this month, but we do had an event at the Farmers Market, the Sustainable Food Center Farmers Market at Sunset Valley. That was August 8th. And just to promote breastfeeding, had some goodies and giveaways there. That was a really fun event. But upcoming still on the 27th, we have a National Breastfeeding Month proclamation at Austin City Hall. So that will be next week, and we're excited about that. They're going to proclaim it as National Breastfeeding Month. It's a really fun event that we'll be taking part of. And then on the 29th, we have the Chocolate Milk Summit. That is going to be hosted by our Austin Public Health, or I guess they're not necessarily our MIOP, our Maternal Infant Outreach Program. And so within Austin Public Health. So that is going to be a really fun event that they're hosting, and the information is there. You can check out their website as well to find more information on that event. So if you're interested in other events too, you can keep an eye on our Facebook page. Anything else or other resources and information, our Facebook page has a lot of great information. And if you know of anything, definitely comment on the details.
So we have some laws for pregnant and nursing mothers. They're not new, but they're fairly recent. We have the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, which went into effect June 27th, 2023. And that just applies to employers with 15 or more employees. We also have the Pump Act, which is providing urgent maternal protections for nursing mothers. And that went into effect April 28th, 2023. And we'll talk about both of those here. The next slide. So the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act is also known as PWFA. The act prohibits any employment practice that either directly or indirectly discriminates against qualified employees who are affected by pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions by failing to provide reasonable accommodations, unless the accommodation would create an undue hardship on the operation of the business. So basically what that says, it's prohibiting employers from requiring a qualified employee to accept an accommodation that differs from a reasonable accommodation, like the restroom. You don't want to go pump in the restroom. You want to pump in a nice, clean, in an office. Or somewhere in a different room, just not the bathroom. I know I've heard a lot of employees like, oh, our bathroom is so clean. It's nice. There's a chair in there. No, it's still a bathroom. We don't want to pump in there. Also denying employment opportunities because of the need, and such reasonable accommodations. Also requiring qualified employees to take paid or unpaid leave if another accommodation is available, and taking adverse action against the qualified employee, such as altering the terms and or conditions of their employment, demotion, or termination because of those needs that employee is requiring. And then the Pump Act. This extends protections for nursing mothers. It's already an existing law requiring that employers provide reasonable accommodations, again, for breastfeeding employees to express their breast milk at the workplace for up to 1 year after birth. All breastfeeding employees, regardless of whether they are entitled to overtime, unless the prior FLSA law. Anyway, reasonable includes providing breaks for the mom with a private non-bathroom space, again, in which the employees can address their lactation needs.
All right, so I'll talk a little bit about another protection that is available. There is a law Texas law that protects breastfeeding mothers in public. So basically, all breastfeeding mothers have the right to breastfeed, and it's basically anywhere that they're entitled to be. So this is part of the Texas Health and Safety Code. They're entitled to breastfeed their baby or express breast milk anywhere they're authorized to be. And so it just really emphasizes the importance of breastfeeding for maternal and child health. And we have little cards in our WIC clinics that state this law if mothers feel comfortable having this with them, if they feel like if anybody approaches them while they're breastfeeding in public. But just know that there's that law. Pretty much if it's a public space, then they're able to breastfeed in public. So in addition to that, there's also a program called the Texas Mother-Friendly Work Sites. In this program, it recognizes employers that provide supportive breastfeeding policies and communicate those with their employees regularly. They're encouraged to create a work environment that includes access to hygienic storage for breast milk, flexible work schedules for milk expression, and private areas for breastfeeding or pumping, again, that are not bathrooms. So you'll hear us say that a lot because it is so important. And at the City of Austin, as an employer, we are designated as a mother-friendly work site, showing that there is commitment to breastfeeding employees through workplace policies, accommodations, and resources that help families thrive. So basically, overall, just knowing that it is something that a lot of employers can apply for this designation, but it is just basically shows that they have a policy that supports their employees, gives them flexible break time, and provides a private space that's free from intrusion. Can be a multi-use space, doesn't have to be a designated space. There's a lot of ways around just to be able to make it a space that works and meets all of these needs for the employee. And again, not a bathroom.
We can't say that enough, right? All right, so some breastfeeding support and resources. We do have breastmilkcounts.org. That's a website that you can go to, very reputable information. A lot of good stuff is on there. And then you heard us talk about Mom's Place. Mom's Place is staffed with some IBCLCs, which is an international board certified lactation consultant, and breastfeeding peer counselors as well. Also in the WIC clinics, we do have breastfeeding peer counselors. There's that information there if you want to call. And they are in every WIC clinic, and the peer counselors can help the mom with some basic support and questions on breastfeeding. Diving in a little bit more to Mom's Place. Mom's Place, they give breastfeeding assistance, again, some breastfeeding education. They can do evaluation on how things are going with you and baby, and then support. Again, we are staffed with IBCLCs, breastfeeding peer counselors, and we have registered nurses there at Mom's Place as well. It's also a teaching site. There are several times a year that we allow nurse students to come in, and they vary, just a variety of different kinds of students come in and kind of follow the LCs around and kind of learn what Mom's Place is about. And again, they do provide in-person and virtual visits. Some additional services, the lactation consultations, we do request that you make an appointment for those. If you do walk into Mom's Place without an appointment and you are in dire need, I'm sure they will accommodate you in some sense, and definitely recognize you and help you in that immediate need that you're having. But we do prefer appointments so we can get that full consultation going. They also do offer breastfeeding pumps and supplies. We have a telephone helpline. They also do weight checks for babies. I know me as a new mom, when you're breastfeeding, you don't know exactly how many ounces they're getting. And everybody talks about, how do you know they're getting enough? Well, diapers and weight. So I was weighing my baby often. I was always at the doctor's office, like at least once a week, wanting to make sure that she was gaining weight. That's something that Mom's Place does also. They also have specialized assistance for premature babies, NICU, late preterm infants. You'll see the three phone numbers there on the bottom row. The first one is Mom's Place. We have a 24-hour breastfeeding hotline that you can call, and then there's a state lactation support hotline. And those three numbers are right there if you want to give them a call.
So Shannon also mentioned breastfeeding peer counselors. We'll talk a little bit more about what that is and what they can do. So we do have peer counselors in all of our WIC clinics, including Mom's Place. And they are there to provide support and also can help with some basic breastfeeding concerns. Some of those are listed here, things like skin to skin, normal feeding cues, feeding patterns, supporting of mothers with any breastfeeding difficulties, breast pumps by issuing breast pumps, assisting with breast pumps, all of the things breast pump, talking about the number of wet and dirty diapers, doing some hands-on latch assistance as needed, returning to work or school, helping them meet their individualized goals. So basically anything that's just within a normal breastfeeding experience, that's the stuff that our peer counselors can help with. And we have, again, then Mom's Place is for more specialized issues, that anything that's going to need a little bit more time or follow-up. That's the kind of stuff that we'll have Mom's Place, the lactation consultants, help with. And so what is a breastfeeding peer counselor? So these are staff members that work in our WIC clinics, and they are there to be a peer support to our breastfeeding mothers. They've either been on WIC or a similar program before. They've breastfed their baby before. So they're able to kind of come at it with a different perspective and can really help relate to our families a lot more. So they're there for the mother-to-mother support system to help meet their breastfeeding goals, and they're trained in breastfeeding support, education. They have their experience and definitely lots of passion for helping mothers. They can provide individual support by phone, email, text, or visits in the clinic. And they definitely know what it's like to be a breastfeeding mother in your shoes. And so they're really there to help you meet your breastfeeding goals.
Okay, let's celebrate you. Do you have a favorite breastfeeding memory? Did you overcome a breastfeeding obstacle? Is there a story that you want to share with us? Our stories that we have create community and just help normalize our successes and our struggles too, right? You never know who you'll be helping. So we're going to do a drawing for a special breastfeeding goodie bag after this live. We'll reach out to you if you're randomly chosen and mail you your goodies. And then just some extra little entries if you'd like. We have a little trivia here. One question is, how many wet diapers should a baby have in 24 hours by day 6? How many dirty diapers should a baby have in 24 hours by day 6? And then a bonus. What's the name of the hormone that helps your body make the milk? It's also known as the love hormone. So if you know the answers to any of those, you can go ahead and comment them on the bottom, and then we'll randomly choose some moms and send them some goodie bags.
Great. Well, and thank you for joining us today. If you have any other questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us, to Mom's Place. And yeah, hopefully you'll add your comments, add your stories for a chance to get an exciting little goodie bag. We look forward to hearing from you.
We do want to add at the end that you do not have to be a WIC participant to get services from Mom's Place, or talk to a WIC a peer counselor. You are more than welcome to go and talk to the peer counselor or reach out to Mom's Place, and you don't have to be on WIC. So everybody is welcome. All the mamas, come on.
Great point.
I super love all the information that y'all gave. I think that we take it for granted that we get to talk about moms and babies all the time and supporting breastfeeding. And I love that even the National Breastfeeding Month reminds us, it's like take a second to promote it, to celebrate it, to, grab those pom-poms and cheer on our moms a little harder in the month of August. So I just love that we're able to do that. And then just a hint, if you don't know the answers to the question, don't forget the website that they mentioned, breastmilkcounts.com. I'm sure the answers might be there. So just a little hint. Me, I might add my own little story in there too.
Yes.
But anyway, so I just want to put your stories, put your answers to the trivia questions in the comments. We'll get a chance to glance at those, give a few people a chance to watch the recorded video. And then what do you know? You might be contacted to win some special goodies. So yeah, awesome. I love it. Thank y'all so much, ladies. I really appreciate y'all coming in to kind of celebrate this time with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a great day, and